What's going on, everyone? My name is Dudo and I'm the Goalie Gear Snob, and today we're going to be talking about a very specific, almost underrated piece of equipment, knee pads. And specifically, I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite pairs of knee pads, the Warrior RX4 and the RX3 Pro knee pads. So let's dive in. So yes, we're going to be talking about knee pads today, and I have my favorite Warrior knee pads here in front of me. But before I get into the review and specifically talk about the key differences between the RX3 and the RX4, I just want to do a little bit of discussion about the actual models of knee pads that Warrior offers. So behind me I have their catalog open, and I just quickly want to touch on the 4 different models of knee pads that they offer, and I just want to talk about some of the key differences between them. So starting off with the Warrior Ritual RX4 E knee pad, yes, E, it's basically just going to be a 2-piece design knee pad, very thin, not as protective as some of the higher models, but it's for a goalie that really wants to wear a very thin knee pad and really not have a lot of bulk underneath their knee. However, after trying those on, that 2-piece knee design isn't totally for me. I like something a little bit more flexible. And then you're going to get a 3-piece design in E plus knee pad. So it's a step up from the E, and basically what you're going to see is a 3-piece design. So it's going to have basically the lower portion that sets around your knee, a middle band, and a top band. And it's going to have those 3 specific pieces that's basically just going to conform to the leg and give you the kind of middle of the road amount of protection. So if you remember when Warrior was giving out knee pads with the purchase of their leg pads, sadly they don't do it anymore, when they were doing it, that was basically their senior knee pad. So it came stock in the box, that's what you're getting there. So if you're using that older Warrior Ritual X Senior, RX2, whatever, and you really had that original senior knee pad and you want to get a new version, go to the E+. However, then talking about the Pro Plus and the Pro, the reason why I opted for the Pro design is because basically it's the same shape they're going to be getting in the E Plus knee pad or that old senior knee pad. And what I found is that not only getting that same shape, which is a little bit of a thinner profile, it's not going to be as bulky on the leg, the Pro knee pad has twice the amount of comfort and protection when you land across that bottom half. I just quickly want to note that it does technically come with a 4-piece knee design, that there's an extra little tiny piece in between like the front padding and where your knee lands. I'll get into that when we look at the knee pads. But then I just want to quickly touch on the Pro Plus knee pad. The Pro Plus knee pad is the largest one that Warrior offers. It has a thicker profile. It basically has the same knee landing as the Pro, but the top half is thicker. So if you really want to get that prime, a lot of comfort when you drop down in your butterfly, go towards the Pro knee pad, and that's going to give you that fin design. And then if you want one that's a little bit wider, get the Pro Plus. So that's basically the way to kind of look at it here. But now that I've talked about the kind of the different models of what's there, I want to go over the differences between the RX3 and the RX4, and I have them here in front of me, and now I'm going to show you guys. So let's check them out. So starting off with the RX3 Pro knee pad, I wore this for the better part of a year. I did wear it on a garter belt. I always wear my knee pads on a garter belt to kind of help pull them up. And I did do a small little modification right here, and I'll do my best to kind of show it here. So the Gen Pro tab that they have across the inside of the knee pad that has laces where you can actually lace through it and attach it to the pants. I actually wear it kind of on a CCM garter, and I have another kind of special garter that I've been wearing and testing. It basically has slick clips, and what I did is I just cut a slit right here so I can run those slick clips through it. And it's basically just a quick little modification. I used to recommend this when I was working at the retail level, so you didn't have to kind of specifically get something to tie into the pants or whatever. You can use this, and then you don't really have to mess too much with the nylon loop right here for a garter attachment, but it is something I just wanted to touch on as well. But looking at the knee pad here, I really like the fit, the feel, and the protection. And specifically, I want to talk about this lower half right here. So this lower half, when you compare this bottom portion to the E Plus or the senior version, it's going to be nearly twice as thick. And I just want to give a shout out and thanks to Kirk Allen from Warrior Goalie, who originally explained this to me and basically said that if you're a goalie that's on the ice maybe 2 to 4 times a week and you want to just get a normal amount of protection, normal amount of comfort when you land in the butterfly, get the E Plus or the senior. But if you're on the ice 5 to 7 times a week and you're dropping down hard, dropping down aggressively, and you really want a lot of comfort, then go towards the Pro. It's basically the same thing as the E Plus, but it just has more comfort in it. And he didn't lie. And I really have used this knee pad heavily over the last year, and I've really loved that. So that's what I wanted just to talk about there. And then specifically when we're getting into the 4-piece design, again, this would be 1, this would be 2, and then you have 3 and 4. But this is only what you're getting on the Pro and the Pro Plus. So it's this extra little bit right here that kind of helps press the knee pad out a little bit. It doesn't make it bulky by any stretch, but just kind of widens it a little bit more. But I want to get into some of the other features that are kind of written on the inside here in a second. So as I was just saying, as I want to get towards the inside of the knee pad, there's a very specific thing that is written on the inside of the knee pad here. And it basically says, to prevent abrasion on the back of your leg pads, we recommend wearing a sock or equivalent over your knee pads. It's written there, and there's a very specific reason why Warrior put that there. So Warrior is team socks over knee pads, and the reason why they do that is for a very specific reason. So if you take this knee pad strap, or say this top thigh strap, and you put it just right here, it's kind of stopping halfway through the Velcro. And then like how I wear this bottom one, very loose across the bottom. But if you want this this bottom one to be a little bit tighter here, what I've seen a lot of goalies do, because they do have thinner legs, is they will take this strap and they put it down, and then the hard Velcro sticks off. It doesn't have anything to grab onto. Except when you're moving around and playing goalie, this will actually rub across the back of the leg pads and actually start to wear it out. So if you start seeing any fuzzy abrasion, that's just strictly because of this Velcro starting to catch on the back half of the pad. And for specific warranty purposes, Warrior recommends wearing something over top, that if you do have to get this strap super tight, you can wear a sock, legging, compression pant, whatever over top, and it will keep this down from wearing on the back of your pad. So if you are experiencing any of the wear on the back of your pad like that, I definitely recommend doing that and wearing something over top. Now getting into some of the differences between the two knee pads, after speaking to Kirk and him kind of letting me know, there weren't a lot of key overall differences that they did in the knee pad here, except reduce some of the hits and logos and actually put a slightly different kind of graphic over top. But from what I'm noticing, it's actually maybe just because it's a newer knee pad that the elastic isn't stretched out as much. It just feels much more robust going from the 3 to the 4. So again, this is the 3 knee pad here. It has a lot of gray, kind of has their sweat kind of wicking material across the back half right here. And then this is going to be the newer version of it. So this is the RX3 Pro knee pad, and I, again, absolutely love this one even more than the 3. But basically, you're going to see a lot more nylon across the top. You're just getting a simple graphic, a simple band that is sewn on top right here. You're not getting too much of a heat transfer kind of logo that you're getting across the 3 here. Also, the 3 was a little bit more grippy. It had a grippier kind of material here. So if you were not wearing socks for whatever reason, it was actually kind of gripping across the back half of the pad. But this one is a lot more sleek. It's a little bit more, it's not gripping as much. So I really like that here. Something else I did want to call out is that on the inside edge of the second portion right here, this is going to be the left knee pad. So I'll just switch sides so you can see it. So as I'm dropping down, I was kind of noticing that this inside edge felt like it was coming down more and kind of protecting the knee a lot more. So I was kind of really liking that shape, kind of feeling like this is really protecting the inside edge of my knee. You're still kind of getting their moisture wicking material across the inside edge here. And so that's something that, you know, for me, I sweat heavily, so that kind of helps a little bit there. And yeah, across this bottom half of the knee pad, this is just insanely robust. It is very comfortable to land on. And just getting on my pedestal for a second here, the reason why I want the Pro knee pad that has twice the amount of padding compared to the E Plus across the bottom is just because when I drop down to the butterfly, I'm not gentle when I drop down. I want to drive my knees down as fast and as hard as possible. And when I'm dropping down, this protection helps across the amount of time that I'm playing on the ice. I feel like my knees are not getting tired, they're not slamming down into the ice. I'm feeling comfortable. Also, it helps raise my shoulders and my butterfly a little bit. I'm getting almost an extra 3/8 of an inch, maybe half inch, depending on how you're looking at it, of height in my butterfly just because of having this extra little buildup underneath of me. And I think that's absolutely phenomenal that you're kind of legally cheating to get your shoulders up a little bit higher. So instead of having a puck kind of graze off you, maybe going in, maybe it's hitting off of me and going up, but I'll take every single advantage I can get there. But I'm going to put this down here, and then I'm going to talk a little bit more about what I think that goalies should be doing with their knee pads. So as much as I'm reviewing this knee pad here, and I'm talking about some of the differences between the 3 and the 4, again, more visual, but when I'm talking about these knee pads here, I do think that knee pads are beyond integral to a goaltender's success in their butterfly, in their technique. Having a knee pad that's going to provide comfort and height in your butterfly is extremely helpful. Having a knee pad that kind of fits what you want, whether it's a wider one, a thinner one, whatever. I think there's a lot of research that goes into these Warrior knee pads, and they have 4 different designs, which I think is absolutely huge. So they have something that fits every different style of goalie. But what I think that everyone should be doing once they pick their knee pads is, unless you can perfectly fight gravity, I do think that Warrior knee pads and other knee pads in general should be worn in a garter belt. I've had an extreme amount of success by wearing a garter belt, and I've never had the knee pad slide down, move around, go down my leg. I think the garter belt is perfect. Then, just like the back of the knee pad suggests, I do wear a hockey sock over top. One, strictly for style purposes. If I'm going to be wearing, maybe a white jersey and I want to wear white socks, I think that looks pretty cool. However, I think beyond the style aesthetic, you're protecting the durability on the back of your leg pad, and by wearing a hockey sock or something, kind of compression-like, it pulls the knee pad in ever so slightly that it actually will almost pull it tighter to your leg. So if you're fighting gravity or whatever, they're sliding down, you start sweating, wearing a compression sock where, the knee pad wants to naturally slide down, the compression sock is going to hold it in. It's going to keep it tighter to your leg. Again, with that garter belt, just adding a security that's never going to move around on the leg. Beyond that, even some people that might remember the old GSBB kind of discussions back in the day about, the rotation. Leg pad knee cradles have changed a lot over the last little bit, but back in the day, they're all super tight. So by wearing a knee pad this big was actually affecting some of the rotation of your leg pads. So people were talking about wearing a hockey sock or maybe compression pants over top of the hockey sock to tighten it up and actually help in aiding rotation of the leg pads. So again, I don't think it's really a prevalent issue now because so many leg pads have a wider leg channel and a lot of them have a nylon material across the back half. There's nothing really gripping. But I think if you want to try to help and get a little bit of better, quicker rotation, add in a hockey sock over top so there's nothing gripping or grabbing across the back half of the leg pads here. So now that I've made my recommendations for the knee pads here, I'm going to try to splice together some clips of me putting the knee pads on so you guys can see what it looks like on the body. I can't recommend these Warrior knee pads enough. Specifically the Pro knee pad, for me being just over 215 pounds, almost 220, I drop down hard onto the ice. I drive my knees down a lot. I try not to play RVH as much as I should, but I've been called out on it before. But being down on my knees in a butterfly position, RVH, etc., it really takes a toll. And I'm 34. My knees kind of take a beating. I'm playing 4 or 5 times a week. I want as much comfort and protection as I can get, and I think I get the perfect combination out of that in the Warrior Pro knee pads. So not necessarily the Pro Plus, just because I think there's a little bit too big, a little bit too bulky for me. I want something a little bit thinner, but also give that better protection. So if the Pro Plus is too big and the E Plus is, kind of too thin, the Pro is the perfect middle ground, and I've really loved that knee pad. I've been using it for nearly 3.5 years. I've kind of used different versions of it. I usually alternate 1 or 2 pairs of them in case I kind of have to, go back to back, or from like a late night skate to an early morning skate, and then I'll get a chance to fully dry out. I really like that. As I compare these to some of the other knee pads I've worn, I just think it's really cool that Warrior offers, different levels of protection, and they're really thinking about the comfort in your butterfly. So some of the other brands, they're really just mainly for impact protection. They do have a little bit of comfort. The Warrior, you kind of get to pick your comfort level, and I think that's absolutely huge, and I really love that. I just want to give a huge shout out to Kirk Allen over at Warrior Goalie for helping get these knee pads over to me, and kind of knowing that I wanted to stand on a little bit of a soapbox and talk about these knee pads, because I think that knee pads are extremely important. Much like how some people joke a blocker's a blocker, like a blocker isn't just that. It affects your stick and how you hold it, your stance, how you move pucks away. And I think the same thing of knee pads, that they're super important, that people really should be looking at those different models and kind of see what's best for them. So kind of want to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts on the Warrior knee pads? What are some of the models that you're using? Is there another knee pad out there that you find that is, has just as much comfort as the Pro knee pad? I'd like to hear you guys comment down below. But I just want to say thank you for watching, and please check out some of the other NHL warm-up videos that I have linked down below. And please also check out some of the other sweet gear reviews that I have listed down below as well. My name is Chris Dudo, and I'm the Goalie Gear Snob, and thanks for watching. Thanks for watching this video. I'd really appreciate it if you liked, commented, and subscribed, and also rang that cute little Liberty bell for some notifications about what I upload to my channel. Please check me out on some of my other social outlets. They're going to be linked down below.